I'm Joel Sturgis, Minnesota Bigfoot Research Team, as well as iHeartRadio and the Travel Channel. Coming at you guys right here from Grand Rapids, Minnesota. We're at the 4th Annual Minnesota Bigfoot Convention. Yeah, actually, I saw a Bigfoot. This is about 20 years ago. I was in northern Minnesota, which is where we are now, and I was on a hunting expedition, and I saw it while I was as close as you are to me. Saw the Bigfoot. It was right next to me. It's kind of funny because you don't see him right away. I did smell it right away, though.
What's that scent like?
I would have to cross a skunk with the worst smelling garbage you ever smell in your life, and that would be a Bigfoot. It is disgusting. So if you smell something that bad, start looking around. You might have a Bigfoot near you.
And as far as size, how big was this one that you encountered?
Well, I am almost 6 feet tall. This one was well over 8 feet tall. About as wide as a refrigerator, if not wider than a double-door refrigerator. You know, the big wide ones, the French doors? That tall, about that size, muscular, not really angry, but it was startled to see me as much as I was startled to see him. They know you're in the woods as soon as you come into the woods, so it was obviously tracking me, trying to figure out what I was up to.
I've heard a lot of people are using sticks or bats to make noise on trees as an attempt to draw the Bigfoot closer. How effective has that been?
You know, that is actually very effective, and if anyone that's watching, that's the first thing I would start to doing is go out in the wood knock. And that's all it's called. Just hit a tree, and then you wait a few minutes, see if you get a response. You know, that's communication between you and the Bigfoot, but also it's non-offensive communication. So it's not something like howling, things like that you could try, but wood knocking is, anyone could do it.
How many Bigfoot do you think there are currently in North America?
There's research right now. It is in the thousands, judging just by sightings. Every year you have thousands of sightings. We're talking about 2,500 Bigfoot, maybe there's 3,000. There could be more. We just don't know because they are very skilled at hiding. Heck, we have a hard time tracking wolf activity, how many wolves we have, things like that. The best guess would be right around maybe 3,000. I also do paranormal investigation for ghosts, UFOs. I kind of do it all. I think that all these are related because a lot of times you go into, like, I know there's probably be a lot of paranormal investigators watching your channel. You go into a ghost hunt and you're going to find out there's also Bigfoot activity or there's UFO activity. A lot of times they are connected. It's funny because recently I went on a Bigfoot investigation and we ended up also witnessing a UFO.
Where was this?
This was north of here. Because I'm sure you've heard that before. A lot of people say, well, you know, we'll go in and we'll experience this phenomena, but then there's this phenomena going on aside of it. So there's something definitely to that.
How long do you usually spend out in the field on these expeditions?
Kind of varies on a lot of, how long do you have permission to be in that area? So if you're out there looking for Bigfoot, make sure you know what land you're on, make sure you have the permission, stuff like that. It can go anywhere from a couple days to I've been out there for a month. So it just depends on, you know, how far you want to go with it too, you know, the time of year, stuff like that. So it kind of varies in that end of it, how long. And really, quite honestly, I mean, the UFO thing has really become a big topic, not only because the government's starting to open up a little bit about it, you know, taking the first steps to maybe disclosure. But disclosure is really going to happen from us citizens more than it's going to happen to them. You know, from them. The more evidence we get, the better.
How do you gather the resources to do these expeditions?
Most people that are out there doing this, it's self-funded. It's doing the labor of love. There's very few that are out there that have academia behind them. Not to say there isn't. There's an Olympic project that we just heard from David Ellis that they are backed with funding. But a lot of it, like to your point, is going to be self-funded. And that's why some of it is, there's such a small, narrow passages of evidence because of that. I mean, people can only be out so long because we have day jobs, this and that. And other. Now, science is starting to take a deeper look at it, though. I mean, they're not laughing us out of the building like they did 15 years ago. They're more apt to listen now, where there actually are scientists. They're going, okay, there could be something to this. So at least that's starting to change. It's not where I'd like it to be yet, but it is getting there quickly. Awesome. And so I'm hoping that in the future there's going to be more full-time investigators with deeper pockets because, you know, it's expensive technology that can actually go out there on sustained investigations, you know, surveillance investigations, and maybe get more answers for us.
Could you tell us about this most recent experience you've had up north?
Yeah, we were actually looking for a Bigfoot. Hey, Doug. Doug Hydecheck, Monster Quest, right over there, the producer. We were tree knocking, like we were discussing. There was a light in the sky. It always begins a light, but it was not the color. There was like purple and pink and odd, non-FAA approved colors in the air, right?
Certainly not a street light.
No, it was darting very quickly, left, right, up, down, like moment's notice. A good friend of mine, he says, hey, if you're ever out there, do this your flashlight. You know what I mean? It's just kind of Morse code something out. So I did that and started blinking back at me. And that's when crap got real, because I've heard of a couple people, they've said, well, I've done that. Next thing you know, I'm missing time. And I'm thinking, I don't know how far I want to go.
Slippery slope.
But we left that area to go to another cryptid area where it was sighting. That light followed us to that next area. So I'm not, who was watching who at this point? It's getting bigger and closer and closer and closer. It was definitely unidentified. I'm going to say it's ET. I don't know if it's ET or not, but it's definitely unidentified, and it was very strange.
What's the feeling like of kind of connecting with it through some means, some form of communication?
It's exhilarating. It's scary. At some points it can be, if you're not ready for it. Because, contact from afar is always fun, right? But then when it gets closer and it becomes really real in your face, that's what we're living for. I mean, that's what we're doing there. I mean, if you don't want to find a snake, don't go out look for the snake. Yeah. But it's that moment of true contact that's the most exhilarating. That's what we're looking for. We're looking for that feedback, that we're on the right track.
What do you think drives people to have this passion for the unexplained?
Way back in the 90s, I make it sound like it was a million years ago. It wasn't that long ago. There wasn't as many people doing it. But now that TV shows are all, and they're making it more normalized. Because it used to be you go up to someone and say, hey, I looked for a ghost this weekend. They look at you like you had a third arm growing out of you. Now if you tell somebody, hey, I went to a haunted location, I looked for a ghost. Oh yeah, I've watched that show on Sci-Fi, or I've done this, or I've done that. I think that pop culture has made it normalized. And that's what brings a lot of people out to try it. So it's been a good thing, because it gets more eyes in the field. And so that, hopefully that continues, that it gets more normalized. The stigma's kind of gone, because forever, Bigfoot, UFO, ghosts, that was a certain amount of stigma to it for a long time. We don't have that anymore. Now it's conventions, a whole industry onto it now. And so that's a good thing.
Were events like this nearly as popular or as populated as they are now? Well,
they were always popular with a niche group of people, right? But going back to TV, because of shows like Finding Bigfoot came on TV, Expedition Bigfoot, things like that, they've made it wider audience that wants to come try this, or at least open their mind to come check out what our speakers have to say. What hasn't changed, though, is the passion that the investigators have. I mean, they're even more passionate now than they were, I think, because now they have some validation. Hey, we're not crazy.
Behind them.
Yeah, there's a community, because, the more people that come together, the stronger they are, and the more that they feel validated. And that's really it right there, isn't it? The validation of what you're doing is correct. Next year, come on up to Grand Rapids, hang out, check these guys out, though. What's your channel's name, man?
We're called Ponder Media.
Ponder Media, man. This is Joel Sturgis, iHeartRadio. You are watching Ponder Media.
Joel then asked us, and I quote, do you guys want to see some cool shit? And we said absolutely, and he took us outside.
You guys do like psychic stuff?
I'm interested. I haven't had a ton of experience with it personally.
They do like crystals and stuff like that. They can tell you about the... Yeah, well, as long as your guys are here filming, you might as well film all the cool shit you find, right?
Absolutely. Is this an interest of yours?
Yeah, I do this as well. So I'm in this community too. So I got a foot in both, you know.
Do you think there's generally a lot of overlap between the two?
There can be, depending upon the person, what they're into. And this is its own subset of the paranormal right here, is psychics, of course, and crystals and healing and Reiki and, so get your audience in.
Sweet, thank you so much.
Yeah, no problem.
Wow. Wasn't that a fun video? If you enjoyed that, you can watch the full 49-minute video on the Bigfoot conference in the link in the description. If you'd like to see more from the channel, you can watch the Comic-Con video as well, or you can check out Pondercast, the podcast where I interview local musicians, creatives, or other interesting people. But for now, I hope you found something interesting, informative, or insightful, and thank you for watching. Bye!
You are watching Ponder Media!